Hey class, sorry if this video is a little bit late. It's been a busy week. So this past Sunday, we learned about Bartimaeus. Now, that name wasn't explicitly said in the Gospel, but rather in one of the other synoptic accounts in St. Mark's Gospel. But we heard our story from Luke, where Luke takes this real thing that really happened and sort of frames it similar to a parable. So who is Bartimaeus? Well, we don't know a lot. We know that he was blind, and we know that he was a beggar. What do we know from his name? Well, Bar means son of, and Timaeus is a Greco-Roman name. So he's the son of some man named Timaeus. And by having Hebrew and Greek in his name, he's sort of a symbol for the whole world. And Luke uses this. Anyway, what happens? Well, Bartimaeus, being a blind beggar, is just sitting by the side of the road, like beggars maybe you've encountered. And life's rough for Bartimaeus. If you can imagine how difficult it is to not have any money, think about how difficult it is to not have any money and not being able to see the world around you. Well, one day Bartimaeus hears a crowd coming, and the people tell him it's Jesus of Nazareth when he asks. And so, being used to begging, he cries out with a loud voice, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus, coming by, enthralled by the crowd, similar to when he felt just an ounce of power leave him when the woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of his garment, hears in the midst of all the sounds and all of the crowd the voice of Bartimaeus. He finds him. The people who were surrounding Jesus and all around Bartimaeus had been telling him, "Be quiet, shush!" They were embarrassed for him for making such a racket, but he cried out all the more. This is what he was used to. He didn't have his sight, so he just let his voice find Christ. But he desired to see him. Well, as we said, Jesus heard his voice, and as he drew near, he found his way through the crowd and said, "Bring him to me." So Bartimaeus comes over to Jesus. And Jesus says, "What is it? What do you want?" A very blunt question. Bartimaeus, being a beggar, he doesn't ask for any money. But being blind, he asks for his sight, that he may see. So Jesus heals him according to Bartimaeus' faith. And what is the first thing that Bartimaeus sees? It's the face of the Lord, the face of God. That same face that in the Old Testament had been heard, if you see the face of God, you cannot live. Well, Bartimaeus, in seeing the incarnate face of the Lord, now lives abundantly. And those same people who were embarrassed for him, the same people that Bartimaeus challenged by refusing as a blind man and a beggar to also be mute, cries out loudly, those people, now they can truly see as well. Because they had thought that Bartimaeus was not worthy of maybe the healing power or maybe even the presence of the Savior, of Jesus Christ. They wanted him to stay where he was. Stay down. Stay blind. Stay begging. Let the Master alone. But Jesus came to heal the blind, to grant sight. And so, when he grants Bartimaeus his sight, we think this is the great miracle of this event, of this parable. But what else do we see in Luke is that the people who had told Bartimaeus to be quiet find their faith as well. The ones who had been embarrassed for him. Because they began to understand what Jesus' mission was in this world. And it's a mission of healing during his ministry. And so we have to look at ourselves. As Bartimaeus, if we had found the opportunity to ask Jesus for one thing, if he approached us and said, "What do you want?" what would we say? Would we say something that would benefit just ourselves? Or would we say something that, though beneficial to ourselves, would save 1,000 around us? What St. Seraphim of Sarov says about acquiring the Spirit, 1,000 around you will be saved. Bartimaeus lives this out. He acquires a sight, and 1,000 around him receive their true sight, because now they can really more fully see who the Lord is. So let's contemplate that. Let's ponder that. And then let's think of ourselves in one other situation. Are we the crowd? Are we ashamed when people who we don't associate with are reaching out to God in a way that may be unique to them? The people who could see didn't have to cry out as loudly as Bartimaeus because they could see where Jesus was. They could go up to him. He had to shout, and the people were embarrassed about this. Are we embarrassed when those in different situations than ourselves reach out to God in different ways? Let's think about that too, because we will be judged based on how many people we brought to the Lord, but also how many people do we prevent from seeing the Lord. This upcoming Sunday, we'll learn about Zacchaeus, another person who sought to see the Lord. Zacchaeus, who was short of stature, had to climb a tree. There are a lot of people in this world who want to see the Lord, like Bartimaeus, like Zacchaeus. By being real Christians, we can do exactly what we need to do to help them see Christ's face more clearly, more frequently in their lives. Anyway, guys, have a good rest of this weekend, and I will see you on Sunday. Peace.